one.
Yeah.
Help
All right.
us.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ishmael.
And I'm Malcolm.
And this is Help Us.
We're still here with Malcolm. We're doing a second episode because we had so much fun in the first one that we've divided it into two.
So what would you say would be the most beneficial for like healing the gut? Let's say you're just diagnosed with IBS or IBD. Like where would you start with an elixir?
I would even just take one step back, as we need to look at, there are many causes, but one of the causes can be, foods that we've been consuming over time that are irritants that have caused the problem. So we got to look at removing that first. So, cleaning up the diet, getting out of those things that could be offenders. And if you're working with obviously a naturopath or someone that can really help guide you, do lots of research, it might have to be one of those elimination diets, right? It's like, okay, take everything out, slowly add things back in, and then start to work with those things that are going to help heal the gut. Inflammation, some things that are soothing. A herb that's really good is called slippery elm. And you soak that, it's got that nice mucilage, right? So for those watching, I'm sure some know, some don't, but in terms of fibers, right, you have your roughage, your insoluble fiber from celery and bran and this kind of roughage bulk. And you have your soluble fiber, which is that kind of smooth, gelatinous quality, like chia seeds, flax seeds. Slippery elm has that. So that provides a nice, gentle, soothing bulk that can move through, can help kind of cool the inflammation. Chia, I mentioned, Irish moss is another one, which gets a little bit of controversy actually. Irish moss is a source of carrageenan, which can be used to thicken things. You might have even seen it on packages of toothpaste, right? Well, it naturally occurs in Irish moss as an isolated, extracted, compound used as a thickening agent. Not so good, right? There's been studies suggesting that actually can be irritating to the bowel and cause more problems. But when it's in a whole food, like something like Irish moss, it can actually work the opposite and very, very soothing. All those seaweeds are good, lots of minerals, major minerals, trace minerals. Irish moss has almost no flavor, all this nutrition, and then this soluble fiber.
And you guys sell moss here?
Yeah, it literally looks like the seaweed that's just washed off the beach. You open the bag and it's like ocean air, kind of hits you. And so you would just give it a little rinse, put it in some water, and let it soak. It looks like a little science experiment, something weird floating in formaldehyde. It's not, it's good. You pour it off, and then you add that to your smoothies, you blend it into elixirs, you do pies, desserts with it. You really focus on the experience here.
A lot of people, when they come here for the first time, they don't have the knowledge, and just ordering stuff online, you're not really going to get that first-hand knowledge from somebody. You're just you may have Googled something and you order stuff, and that's not always the best case scenario. So actually coming into the store and talking to you and understanding why you're taking what you're taking and why you're consuming what you're going to consume is a lot more beneficial to you than just ordering things online blindly.
Obviously, if you're vegetarian or vegan, this would not work, but one of the best gut healing protocols I've seen, and again, this is from customers coming in, sharing their experience, is through meat stock. There's a whole trend of bone broth.
Yeah.
But actually, bone broth, if you have any gut issues, that's not what you want to do.
Really?
Actually, yeah. You want to go only to meat stock. Meat stock contains more things like glutamine that's really healing to the gut. So it does what they say, heal and seal the gut. There's something called GAPS, the gut and psychology syndrome, which meat stocks have been maybe the most popularized through that, where this woman, Natasha Campbell McBride, and there's been others doing it as well, they've been looking at autoimmune conditions, things like ADD, ADHD, even schizophrenia, all related to the gut, and go on this kind of special restricted diet, which a lot of it includes meat stock every meal of the day to kind of help heal and seal the gut, and they've had amazing results.
So is the process the same of making it?
Don't do it as high, so you do want it a nice low simmer. You can even leave the lid off, and then it's where some people do bone broths overnight, 12 hours, 24 hours. This is in the 4 to 6 hour range.
So when it comes to the meat stock and kind of healing the gut, does it have any benefits on rebuilding the flora as well, or would you still recommend taking probiotics to kind of rebuild that flora along with the meat stock?
So it's going to help seal the gut, which is then going to create the conditions that are favorable for you to rebuild that gut flora. So that would be a separate part of the protocol, using probiotics, fermented foods, that type of thing.
So it kind of just sets up that environment for the flora to rebuild.
You can't talk about gut health without probiotics, fermented foods. So, again, that's one of those things, industrialization of our food system, where we really went off. People all around the world were fermenting their food. There was a practicality that we just needed to preserve our food. We needed to, what we harvested, what we gathered, what we grew, we needed it year round. Fermentation was a very practical way to do that. And I think once we got refrigeration, we got trucking, we got food manufacturing, it was like, oh, well, we don't need that. Yeah, we're beginning to realize how key and how vital that is. There's so much to fermentation, but the real key, as you guys know, is the probiotics, getting those good bacteria in. So it helps pre-digest our food. If it's the food that we're fermenting, and I think this is one of the reasons why there's a lot of dairy allergies, sensitivities, wheat intolerance. But when it's cultured, when it's fermented, when it's pre-digested, and it has the enzymes that's broken it down, as well as the bacteria, wheat is the same thing too. If we just take the grain itself, grind it into flour, bake bread out of it, we're finding issues with digesting it versus the sourdough, right? Got that colony of bacteria and yeast that ferments it, pre-digests it, makes it much easier to digest. So I've got a video on creating what I call teff flatbreads. So teff, if you ever been to the Ethiopian restaurant, those big, spongy, they call it injera. Yeah, that's made from teff. So this is like an unleavened bread. You've got a nice, good ferment. It's like almost like a pancake batter. You pour that onto a skittle, hot cast iron pan, wherever you got, and you make flatbreads. Nice, good lunch, especially for those that are looking for an alternate, right? You give up bread and it's like, well, now what do I eat?
What am I supposed to do?
Believe me, I get that.
Yeah.
Always trying to find that bread alternative.
So that teff thing, that's one of my favorite ferments. What's one of yours? Do you guys integrate fermented foods?
Well, now I'm super nervous.
I can honestly say I have never gone down that route, because this is all still fairly new to
Have
me.
you ever had fermented foods?
No. I mean, I have, but not the real stuff that you were talking about. The stuff that you buy at the supermarket.
The handmade, the homemade.
Yeah. I've never had the real stuff that's back to the basics.
Yeah.
I do know that you've tried some non-supermarket.
Yeah. I've had some ferments. One was, it tastes like pickles, and it's just it was like a sauerkraut dill. So amazing, literally just tastes like pickles.
Yeah.
And I love pickles, so I put that on my salads. I mean, it's great for your digestion. I'm also using it almost instead of a salad dressing, because I find, obviously the store-bought salad dressings, there's just so much stuff that I'm not into. So yeah, I'll use that and then just add some spices.
That's one of those big keys, right? In terms of pickles or sauerkraut or whatever it is. If it's made on that mass scale, they're going to pasteurize it, which gives it that longer shelf life. Pickles, which were traditionally fermented, now are done in a white industrial vinegar versus lacto fermentation, which would have those good natural probiotics.
You guys offer workshops here, and then I know that you have a video channel as well. There's a YouTube channel that they have at Cellar here.
Yeah, a whole variety of videos that we do, fermentation all the way from pickling and the teff that I mentioned to even doing your own sodas, right? Like the kombucha style. I'm into what's called ginger bugs, water kefir. There's all different ways you can do that to create these effervescent, probiotic, bubbly sodas. There's a ton of videos people can check out. I know not everyone lives in Calgary can make it to Light Cellar, but that's why we have that online. The recipes, the how-tos, the easy upgrades.
Well, we definitely want to thank you, because you've taught us a lot.
Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for watching.
Anytime.
Yeah.
We really appreciate everything that you told us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right on.
Thanks for inviting us into your space.
And
our drinks, they're gone.
They're gone. They were delicious. What did I just drink?